In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table.
This is Financial Services Representative Michael Libman with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls even with the internet and email. I feel it's important to really get to know you and your family's needs. Otherwise, how will I know what direction you need to take? Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Libman. He makes house calls. Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, New York, New York, 10166.
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore. And love was made for me and you.
Good evening, Bruce. Thank you very much, and good evening to all of you who are joining us tonight on WTAD, WTAD.com, TuneIn Radio, and online with our friends at Quincy Journal's QJTV. I'm Sean Seacrest, along with legendary Raider Mark Thomas, for tonight's second leg of the crosstown rivalry between Quincy Notre Dame and Quincy High. Mark, the Raiders hung in the first matchup a month ago at Flynn Stadium. They gave a high-powered Blue Devil team all they could handle. The Devils would eventually get a second-half goal for a 1-0 win over Notre Dame. Now Notre Dame hosting here at Jack McKenzie Stadium, part of the Legends complex here on the north campus of QU. They'll try to even up this crosstown rivalry tonight.
Yeah, look for much of the same tonight. Going to be probably low-scoring, defensive battle. Notre Dame has Zeke Little back in goal after some illness about a week and a half ago, and should be just a great game, great night for soccer and any sport tonight, and a beautiful complex there, Jack McKenzie Field.
Anytime you build a defense, it's from the goalkeeper out. Zeke Little is going to be part of the topic of conversation when I sit down with Raider head coach Greg Reese a little bit later in the pregame show. Mark, let's talk a little bit about these two teams and where they stack up coming into this evening. We know that the postseason is just around the corner. Let's start with the visiting Blue Devils. They're 11-2-3. They just came this weekend from St. Louis, where they were a part of a four-legged tournament that brought together some of the best teams in the nation. A team out of Colorado, a team out of, I believe it was Rhode Island that they played over the weekend. And then, just the number one team in the state of Missouri in St. Dominic. They went 1-1-1 over the weekend. And that, considering the stout competition, is an accomplishment worth talking about.
Yeah, no, it's a quality tournament with great teams from not just this region but around the country, as you said. And to come away with that 1-1-1 is, speaks volumes for Quincy High's team this year, and they've done well in the past too. But it sets them up for this game and also the run in the postseason where they're going to meet, Edwardsville and some very good teams in the regional, and hopefully on to sectionals and hopefully a state tournament appearance.
Now, Mark's already thinking about the future. We'll talk about the regionals coming up in just a bit. This Blue Devil team comes in tonight 11-2-3 on the year. As for the Quincy Notre Dame Raiders, who will be the host tonight here at Jack McKenzie Field, part of the Legends complex at QU's North Campus, they are 5-11-2, but they also picked up the number 2 seed in the regional. That might be a bit of a head-scratcher for those not familiar with soccer in the IHSA. How could a team that's 6 games under 500 be well thought of enough to get a number 2 seed in the regional, Mark?
Well, I mean, it's their schedule, and Coach Reese, prepares them for this. They were at the Mid-State Classic in Springfield and played Viator to 1-0, and then also played some good teams and. Quincy High, of course, and Rochester, they beat 1-0. Earlier in the season, they played Francis Parker, who they had played in the state tournament before. And they've had some quality opponents. And even though the record doesn't, show a lot of success in the win-loss column, they're going to be a tough out come the 1A tournament.
The Raiders come into this one on a 2-game streak. They broke that 2-game losing streak, losing 1-0 at Jacksonville and 4-2 at Macomb with a 3-0 win over Hannibal over the weekend. Now the Raiders look to make it 2 in a row and claim the second leg of this home-and-home season series against the Blue Devils tonight at Jack McKenzie Field. We'll talk it over with Matt Longo, the head coach of the Blue Devils, and Greg Reese, the head boss of the Raiders, all as we continue our countdown to kickoff on WTAD next.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table.
This is Financial Services Representative Michael Libman with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls, even with the internet and email. I feel it's important to really get to know you and your family's needs. Otherwise, how will I know what direction you need to take? Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Libman. He makes house calls. Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, New York, New York, 10166.
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore. And love was made for me and you.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table.
This is Financial Services Representative Michael Libman with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls, even with the internet and email. I feel it's important to really get to know you and your family's needs. Otherwise, how will I know what direction you need to take? Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Libman. He makes house calls. Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, New York, New York, 10166.
Hi, this is Will Spear, asking you to do what you can to help defeat breast cancer.
WTAD.
Our countdown to kickoff continues on WTAD. Head coach Matt Longo, the Blue Devils, joins us now. Coach, a month ago, these two teams hooked up for the 1-0 win by the Blue Devils at Flynn Stadium, and since then, your club has done nothing but put up a string of impressive results.
Well, that's what you work for. I mean, so far it's been pretty good. We've just got done with a great tournament in St. Louis, and we've done some other things against some conference teams, so we have done well. It'll be interesting to see what we can continue what we did this week. And even though we went 1-1-1, I think we learned a lot about ourselves and as a team and as individuals. Now we have to carry that over after Thursday, Friday, Saturday, a day of rest Monday, or a day of rest Sunday, and then a game Monday against a cross-time rival. We just sort of hope that we can continue to do that.
That wasn't just any tournament in St. Louis over the weekend. Those are some of the top clubs in the nation, and you guys really fared well.
I did very good against the team from Colorado. They were extremely quick, and they sort of stopped us from doing a lot of things. The team from Rhode Island, we tied the team from Colorado. The team from Rhode Island had not lost this year. We put 2 up on them, 1 in each half, and then the last game was against the best team in the state of Missouri, that's St. Dominic's, and they scored with about 20 to go, but when we held our own in the last 20 minutes, we had quite a bit of pressure on the goal. We just couldn't finish it up. So, you know, you go down there, you go 1-1-1, and you'd like to do better, but I think overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give us pretty high.
You know, if you look at this 2-game series between yourselves and Quincy High as kind of a 2-legged tournament, if you will, you've got kind of 1 leg up from the 1-0 win at home a month ago. You come to this beautiful facility here at the Jack McKenzie Stadium on the campus of QU. This has to be a fun one to play.
Well, it brings back a lot of memories. I remember sitting right here on this bench years and years ago, so now you get a chance to actually coach on it. Unfortunately, I missed the game last year when it was out here, so this is the first time that I've had the opportunity to coach out here, and I look forward to it. And I think the kids look forward to it. We were on turf all weekend, so that sort of helps us, and it's nothing really new to us to play on that, but to be honest, we'll play on turf tonight, we'll play on turf tomorrow night, and that'll be it, because we're on grass for the regional, so we won't practice at all on turf anymore. So we're going to enjoy the next 2 nights with the turf field and enjoy the atmosphere tonight, and, you know, if we come out with a W, that'd be great, but we're going to try to make ourselves better and get ready for the regionals.
You mentioned regionals. Of course, there's no surprises in your region. It's the Big Four all the time. You guys get the number 2 seed. You're going to be playing those on the road down south. It's just something you get used to.
Yeah, it's sad. I've been here this is my 10th year back in my second stint, and we've only had one regional, and that's when it was 1A and 2A.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's gone to 3A, we've never hosted a regional. So we'll hop on our bus and we'll do what we're supposed to, and hopefully we'll have some good results. But we've learned an awful lot about ourselves since the last game, and hopefully we can put it into effect here tonight.
That's head coach Matt Longo, the head coach of the Blue Devils. Coach, good luck tonight.
Thanks. We love having you. Thanks for doing it, and look forward to watching a replay.
We'll have more as we continue the countdown to kickoff on WTAD.
At Domino's, we're more than pizza, so mix it up with our chicken, stuffed cheesy breads.
All right, we'll take this down with Greg before the match, and we'll do it in 3, 2,
and we'll
1.
make stand-up comedy with a robot.
2 minutes here, guys. We'll go 2 minutes all the way around.
All right, sounds good.
Those levels okay, Bruce, or you want me to push more?
The levels are fine.
Okay.
They're both super cheesy. Why did the 8-piece chicken cross the road? Because the Domino's delivery guy was carrying it. Domino's pasta primavera tastes just like my mom, which is not surprising. She is an oven.
Yeah.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table.
This is Financial Services Representative Michael Libman with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls, even with the internet and email. I feel it's important to really get to know you and your family's needs. Otherwise, how will I know what direction you need to take? Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Libman. He makes house calls. Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, New York, New York, 10166.
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore. And love was made for me and you.
Continues on WTAD. We're joined now by Greg Reese, the head coach of the Raiders. Coach, in the month since the first leg of the matchup between Quincy High and yourselves, you really have perked up the schedule as far as the competition goes. You've taken on kind of the best of the best in the area. What have you seen as improvements in your squad from going through that tough road?
I mean, we've been consistently maintaining possession throughout some games and creating more and more opportunities on the offensive end. Where I've been, running into some troubles is we're making a mental breakdown on defense or somewhere in the midfield that ends up costing us a goal, and then we've had to make some changes in formation to try to go get the title out in the game, and again we've had some breakdowns. So I think we'll figure out our best lineup at this point. I feel pretty confident in the way we're playing right now. With the players in the right spots, and then with our rotation coming off the bench. So that's probably the biggest thing we figure out. Plus, I think the guys are starting to see that they can play, maybe in short stints against some of the better teams around. And if we can keep stringing that stuff together and building confidence, and come postseason, we should be in pretty good shape.
Seems like when you guys do score, you score in bunches, and that makes it easier on your defense when you can put a couple in.
Yeah, a lot easier on the defense. I mean, our defense has been the mainstay of the team this year, and they've been working exceptionally hard. So when we do get up, we get a 1-0 lead or a 2-0 lead, kind of gives them a little bit of a break. But we just got to make sure that the group's coming together and playing as a whole, and we start strong at the back and then build our possession game up and get numbers forward. I mean, fortunately for us, most of our goals have been coming off a restart, so we've been pretty consistent with those all season long. So if we can look to build off of that and then also create some in the course of the regular game, I think we could be pretty dangerous in the postseason.
The back end of any defense is a great goalkeeper, and I've noticed that most of the wins you get are shutouts. Talk about your goaltending.
I mean, Zeke's played really, really well here lately. He's starting to come on. His consistency with his punting and goal kicks has been a great, actually, offensive weapon for us. In the nets, he's gained some confidence. Early on, the first 10 games, he had a a knee injury that was really kind of limiting his performance. I think it kind of rocked his confidence, and he didn't feel confident enough with his speed to be able to come out and cover behind the defense up to the 18 like he normally does. And I mean, I think early on, some of the goals we gave up, our backs were kind of looking at Zeke saying, hey, where the heck are you? Because normally you would have had that no problem. But I don't see that as an issue now. And like I said, he's been playing super strong here recently. Backup-wise, Lucas Klein has given us a couple of solid games. He had a big learning game up in Macomb his first start, but then down in Hannibal the past weekend, he played really, really well. So, I mean, Zeke's been a great teacher for him, and Zeke's really starting to solidify and step up his captaincy for this team, and that's really helping us out.
Tonight we're playing on the campus of Quincy University at Jack McKenzie Stadium. It's a much different field than you're used to playing on at 10th and Jackson. Has that made a difference to your program since you've really started playing most of your games here?
Yeah, we've played all of our games here so far this year, and I mean, obviously it's a big difference. I mean, after the first football game, we made a trip out to the 10th and Jackson field and tried to run a practice out there, and it was terrible. We couldn't get anything accomplished. The ball was bouncing all over the place, and it's just not a good field for soccer to be played on, unfortunately. I mean, it's a disadvantage for us because we don't really have a home field advantage, but we'll have a decent crowd out here tonight, and I think the guys will be pretty happy with the overall crowd, and the field it plays unbelievable. I mean, it's consistent every time you come on the field, so we can't look at the field and say that was the fault.
Real quickly before we let you go, the seeds are in for the postseason tournament. The Raiders don't have a gaudy record, but still, I think there's a lot of respect for the way you schedule for this program. You get another high seed.
Yeah, I mean, we got the 2 seed, which the Springfield Lutheran team's got a really great record going, but I'm not sure how tough their schedule is. But we're going to come out and really try to support what we've tried to do in the season with the quality of the schedules, the competition that we have in the postseason, and show that we're better than 5-11-2, which is what we are right now. And we'll let our win-loss record take care of itself. And I did some research today. I told the guys a couple weeks ago that Waterloo-Jabot, when after the 3-class system went, they were playing all the big schools in St. Louis, and they were going into the postseason with 4-12 records, or 4-15, or 7-15 records, but yet they were getting first, second, and third in all those seasons. So, I mean, regular season's just a long practice season, essentially, as far as the IHSA is concerned. And once the playoff starts, anything can happen. And if you're a prepared team and you've played some competitive games throughout the season, you should do well.
That's Greg Reese, the head coach of the Raiders. Coach, thanks, and good luck tonight.
Thanks.
We'll have more as our countdown to kickoff continues on WTAD.
So, you've cut back on everything from lattes to lunches, but you're still coming up short at the end of the month. Try this. Give State Farm...
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table.
This is Financial Services Representative Michael Libman with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls, even with the internet and email. I feel it's important to really get to know you and your family's needs. Otherwise, how will I know what direction you need to take? Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
Greg Reese.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Libman. He makes house calls. Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, New York, New York, 10166.
You get to this point of the season, at the end of the season, and all of a sudden Nike, Callaway, TaylorMade.
All right. Oh, man, this is going to be a beautiful night.
Off charge.
You were in charge of bringing the beers.
I didn't know if we could have it online.
Oh, well, yeah. Blame Bob. That's what I do.
Walker's going to get another no-hitter.
He had a perfect game into the 6th. Took that no-no into the 8th, man. He was throwing like he could have gotten it. That one to Liriano, it wasn't up, but it was in the middle of the plate. Boy, that lefty.
You mean Alvarez?
Alvarez, yeah. He just...
He hit.
We are live from Jack McKenzie Field on the North Campus of QU Stadium. I'm Sean Secreets, welcoming back in Mark Thomas. Thanks again to both Coach Longo and Coach Reese for their valuable time before the match tonight. Mark, let's take a look at the postseason that these two teams are about to embark on. Just a couple of weeks left in the regular season, and then it's the postseason proving grounds. We'll start with the visitors, Quincy High. They're part of that elite four-team regional. I don't think you could draw up four tougher teams in the state to put in the same regional year in and year out. This year, Edwardsville gets the number 1 seed, Quincy gets the 2 seed, Granite City gets the 3 seed, Alton gets the 4 seed. But, oh, yeah, this whole tournament's going to go down at Alton.
Correct. I mean, I think Coach Longo kind of summed it up in his 10 years here. They haven't hosted a regional game here, and
not since it went to a 3-class system.
Yeah, correct. And so it's just a difficult regional. And with Edwardsville, the number 1 seed, it seems like Quincy High, not only just in soccer but all the sports have had to go through them to get onto the sectionals, and they have an excellent program, and year in, year out are a tough out. They've been there and have gotten to the state tournament, and like you said, it's just a for a 4-team regional, just a beast of a regional.
I've heard some conspiracy theorists say that this goes back to the mid-'70s to mid-'80s run that the combination of Granite City and Edwardsville were on then. And according to the conspiracy theorists, of course, I would never take part in such talk, that the IHSA rewrote it so that you wouldn't constantly have 2 downstate schools playing for the title. And that's pretty much been the case since the last time, I believe, Quincy played against, was it Granite City in 1985 for the title at that point?
Well, we actually beat Collinsville in the final.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah, it was in 85. So that was the last time those 2 downstate teams played for the final. And, we had to get through, I think, 6 teams from up north. And never easy. And Quincy High in their regionals not going to be easy again this year.
They're introducing the seniors tonight on the field here at Jack McKenzie, on the North Campus. Jack Murphy's the old Dodger Stadium, or the old Padres Stadium out west. Taking a look at the postseason for Quincy Notre Dame, they will get the chance to host this year, and they will be hosting the regional here at Jack McKenzie Field on QU's North Campus. At 5-11-3, it's still a number 2 seed for Notre Dame. Springfield Lutheran is number 1. Beardstown is number 3. So it'll be Notre Dame and Beardstown. That'll be the first match on Tuesday, October 15th, so just 8 days away from the postseason for QND, and that'll be right here. So Notre Dame really embarks on their second season, having proven that they can take on the best and hang with the best during the regular season.
Yeah, and I think Coach Reese would, tell you he's very happy, not only hosting, but being able to play on Jack McKenzie Field, where it's a true soccer field. The width, the length, the field turf, you're going to always know what kind of bounce you're going to get. Irregardless of weather, you're going to have a nice field to play on. So I know they've had issues with that in the past, where some of the venues, whether they've been played in sectionals that the IHSA has put them on. So this is a great opportunity for the Raiders to continue winning regional titles and moving on.
We'll have the entirety of the match between Notre Dame and Quincy High coming up tonight on WTAD. And as soon as we're done, Jets at Atlanta Falcons, Monday Night Football on WTAD. Boy, the 2-2 Jets and the 1-3 Falcons. Falcons' only team they've beat has been a disappointing Rams team this season. So they're a little nervous down in the dirty South.
I think Atlanta will win that game, so Jets just aren't very good.
Some people have said now that Brian Schottenheimer finished dismantling the Jets offense, he moved on to St. Louis to dismantle the Rams offense. And if that's the case, he's certainly done his job so far this season. Rams got a big win over Jacksonville over the weekend. You heard that here yesterday on WTAD. We're just moments away from tonight's kickoff. The national anthem is about to be performed. We'll step aside for just a moment and come back with tonight's opening kickoff, QND versus QHS. We'll talk about the history of this series and how Game 1 went down in our recap just before kickoff, coming up next on WTAD.
Hey, Riley, it's Truck Month here at Jim.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table.
This is Financial Services Representative Michael Libman with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls even with the internet and email. I feel it's important to really get to know you and your family's needs. Otherwise, how will I know what direction you need to take? Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Libman. He makes house calls. Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, New York, New York, 10166.
The starting lineups tonight at Jack McKenzie Stadium between Quincy, Notre Dame, and Quincy High. I'm Sean Secreets along with Mark Thomas. Mark, first the lineup for the visiting Quincy Blue Devils. They're 11-2-3 coming into this one. In goal, it'll be Tyler Gerst. Gerst is, well, he's their mainstay in goal. You look at 13 games started so far this season, a .73 goals against average in those games. And he is the leader, he is the backstop, he is the anchor that the Blue Devils will use throughout their run in the postseason. In front of Gerst, it'll be Merrill, Hosher, Dittmer, Whitty, Disler, Longo, Noakes, Curran, Danahold, and Wingirter tonight for the Blue Devils. For Quincy Notre Dame, coming in at 5-11-2, Zeke Little will be the goalkeeper. He is wearing the 0 shirt tonight. Goalkeepers are very superstitious. He's listed as both 0 and 6, and he's elected to go with the 0 here this evening. In front of Little, it'll be Johannes, Riggs, Murphy, Zanger, Smith, Nudo, Reese, Buckman, Drew, and Obert, the starting lineup for Notre Dame. The QND Raiders about to host the Quincy High Blue Devils. We'll have the first kickoff coming up next on Talk Radio 930 WTAD.
At Domino's, we're more than pizza.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table.
This is Financial Services Representative Michael Libman with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls even with the internet and email. I feel it's important to really get to know you and your family's needs. Otherwise, how will I know what direction you need to take? Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Libman. He makes house calls. Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, New York, New York, 10166.
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore. And love was made for me and you.
Fluid check, battery check, and a visual check on belts, hoses, filters, shocks, struts, steering,
All right.
and exhaust. We'll check your tires for proper air pressure. And
Formalities over. Let's talk for 40 minutes straight with a sore throat. This will be awesome.
All this from our
If I do this, you're on until I start talking again.
We run a tight ship. We're not used to this.
Oh, I want to hear Mark do his
Hey, so
British
did-
soccer accent.
No, that's Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yes.
It's just what you'd
Oh, hello.
like Schottenkirk
Hello,
Chevrolet
Puppet.
and Schottenkirk Ford Madison, helping you find new roads.
Here we go. Good evening and welcome to Talk Radio 930 WTAD's coverage of the Crosstown Derby. I'm Sean Secreets along with Mark Thomas. It is the second leg of the seasonal soccer matchup between Quincy Notre Dame and Quincy High. Tonight, we're being hosted by QND on the North Campus of Quincy University at Jack McKenzie Field. Mark, Leg 1 went to the Blue Devils at Flynn Stadium, 1-0 a month ago.
Yeah, it was a closely contested battle. We thought Quincy High kind of had the better of play, and early in the second half they got a ball down the one sideline, and and Hunter Hosher, who you're going to have to look out tonight too, who leads Quincy High in goals, got an assist that night and beat his man along the flank. So I think it's going to be a game. Quincy Notre Dame's defense, goalkeeping, and their entire team defense against Quincy High's potent offensive attack again.
We are ready for tonight's opening kickoff. The Raiders of Notre Dame will take it. They are in the all whites with the dark blue numbers on their backs. The Blue Devils are in the deep blue tops with the royal blue shorts, the white stripes matching on both, and the white numbers. The Raiders will move from right to left in the first half, and the Blue Devils, they'll move from left to right. The Blue Devils come in 11-2-3. The Raiders 5-11-2. And the Blue Devils, for their part, Mark, they have really owned this crosstown rivalry series for the last few years. They've swept the series in 2012 and 2011, and they've won the first leg here in 2013. A 5-game winning streak for the Blue Devils. Blue Devils move it right down the middle of the field, left to right. And finally, the Raiders are able to rally with Brendan Smith. Smith forces the Devils out wide as the Devils get it with Disler. Disler has it played square to the near side as he's dispossessed. Raiders want to attack up the left side wing, looking for Jacob Obert to run up top. Obert has it knocked away to Disler. Disler's easy to spot tonight for the Blue Devils. He and his midfield mate, Blake Dittmer, gave themselves fresh mohawks right before the game.
Yeah, look, quite a few Quincy High Blue Devils have the mohawk. Hosher looks like he like a lion up front with the mane he has going on. So looks like a team thing they're doing, and they're hoping it'll lead to some success.
Noakes at the stopper, rolls it forward, and now it's pushed back into the defensive third for the Blue Devils. Blue Devils holding at midfield, want to roll to the far side with Dittmer, while the Raiders are giving chase. Raiders middle of the field, turn it around with Smith. Smith forces it out to the wide side, but it's picked up with possession. The Quincy High Blue Devils working off the far side with Noakes. You could not buy a seat this good if you were willing to pay any price. We have really been taken care of here at the field on North Campus for QU. And this is, they had an old saying in theater in the Middle Ages. It was the Duke's seat was the best seat in the house, and that's what we've been given here this evening at Jack McKenzie Field. The back line for Notre Dame. They were tested early and often in the first matchup between these two, Mark. And tonight it's going to be Riggs and Murphy working at the back in central defense, getting some help from Tanner Zanger. How are they going to communicate? What are we going to see from them as they try to stop this high-powered Blue Devil offense tonight?
Well, you can see early on, it looks like Notre Dame's going to kind of that one forward up top and Obert, and they're getting looks like 4 or 5 midfielders in there, and then their back four. And so they don't play with a sweeper; they're playing with a flat back four. But they've done well defensively all year. And so keys, like Coach Reese said, are going to be these free kicks, both from Quincy High and Quincy Notre Dame, and that a lot of times can lead to goals scored for the offensive team.
Long serve in from midfield by the Blue Devils, and easy pickup for Zeke Little, one of the captains for Notre Dame, and he is their goalkeeper. Little has been the architect of numerous shutouts for the Raiders this season. In fact, in games that the Raiders win, shutouts are more prevalent than any other result. So Little, with the knee injury now fully healed, is starting to exert his influence from the goal.
Yeah, no, he's solid in goal, has been for the last few years in net for Quincy Notre Dame, and not only makes the key saves that you need him to make, he makes some of the ones that maybe other goalkeepers won't, and to keep his team in contest. So he did that in the first meeting between these two teams, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does it again tonight.
Stabbed on the near side by Buckman. He wanted to play it to Obert. Instead, the Blue Devils push it into midfield. Regained by Zanger. He pushes it into the center circle. Now an easy pickoff on the far side by Dittmer. He wants to roll it out wide, gets it to Winggerter, and it'll be a Blue Devil run up the far side as it's touched out momentarily by the Raiders. Now the Devils have it back in the middle of the field with Dittmer. Dittmer lays it wide out on the right side. He's getting help from the right back, Danahold. Danahold looks for the cross off the right foot, sends it in short, flashing across the top of the box. The Blue Devils can't come down with a scoring chance. Good fundamental defense by the Raiders, and this will end up in a deep throw-in for Notre Dame. So hoping for the goal kick, but they'll get possession and a throw-in in a dangerous spot down in the near side, right side corner.
Yeah, good cross there from Danahold looking for Longo there. And you'll see Longo push up. Sometimes he'll be in the back, but Quincy High having their first chance there to get a ball in the box.
The first leg in this matchup a month ago was the first game back for Longo, and he was played in the midfield, then in the back line to keep him from wearing himself out in that game. He'll have a little bit more match fitness tonight, and I expect roam a lot more this evening, Mark.
Yeah, and he can play multiple positions. They'll move him in the back sometimes. He's up top right now playing a wing forward, and left-footed player, but very good off the dribble. And Quincy High would like to play, more possession, swing the ball from side to side like they're doing right now.
Quincy High looking very good here on the turf at Jack McKenzie Field, dictating the pace so far. Looped down into the corner, they want Evan Curran. Curran on top now. He draws one-on-one defense, poked away expertly out of the near side corner. I believe that's Zanger on the poke away. Now get it into Longo for the Blue Devils. Longo wants to turn it back toward the middle of the field with Dittmer. Dittmer wants to take it all the way across as they play it square, and now they'll probe the far side corner with Hosher. Hosher wants to run down that wing. He was so dangerous in the first matchup between these two in the second half, making kind of deep diagonal runs against this Raider back line.
Yeah, he's dangerous. When he gets that ball and you allow him to turn and give him space, he'll take people on, and he loves to get that ball in and around the box and can finish like and he leads the Blue Devils in goals. So he's definitely one of the most dangerous players on the field.
Here's a drop kick punt from Little. He takes it out across the circle and deep into Blue Devil territory. We're scoreless, almost 6 minutes in between Notre Dame and Quincy High. Sean Secrease and Mark Thomas looking forward to deep runs in the postseason for both these programs. Here's a steal by Notre Dame, poking it to the outside, looking to run after it is Buckman. Buckman's going to be whistled for the foul, and it'll get a restart. Danaholt, the takedown of Buckman, and it's a restart for Notre Dame.
Yeah, Coach Reese talked about this. Now, this is going to be some key spots here when they get free kicks to get some guys up ahead. You can see Cooper Reese likes to drive these balls. He's very good at playing balls up the top, and Brendan Smith will go up there, also Zanger, and they'll try to get people in the box and put some pressure on.
Even from 45 yards out where they are now. Yep. Here's a roll in short, beating the wall to the near side corner of Notre Dame, but they can't get it angled on goal. Tense moments for Tyler Gerst. He hasn't been called on yet in the pink shirt, backstopping this Blue Devil defense. Devils knock it away, want to look for Longo up top. Longo comes to the near side, challenges Murphy. Murphy has it knocked away from him, now off of Riggs and out of bounds, and a throw in coming up. And mass substitutions coming on for the Raiders. The Raiders will sub 5 at our first substitution here with 7 minutes deep on WTAD. Thanks to Bruce Terstegen taking care of us back at the WTAD studios tonight. If you would like to watch tonight's game with us, our friends at Quincy Journal have their QJ TV crew here this evening. Simply log on to quincyjournal.com, click the QJ TV tab, and you can have a television experience of tonight's game. You won't even need to take your radio with you. The feed from Mark and I will be present online at quincyjournal.com on QJ TV. Thanks to Bob and Alex Goff for covering tonight's QND QHS soccer match online at quincyjournal.com. Middle of the field for the Blue Devils. We're scoreless, 8 minutes in, as the Devils look to probe this Raider defense. The Raider defense feels like they've come together since Little's knee injury has been restored to full health. Coach Reese talked about it in the pregame show, Mark. But if you have a rhythm between your central defenders, guys like Murphy and Riggs, with your goalkeeper, Zeke Little, more often than not, you expect the central defenders to take care of some balls, but they also rely on the goalkeeper to take care of some things that are behind them. And when the keeper doesn't have his normal range, that can lead to some surprising breakdowns at the wrong place on the field.
Yeah, for sure. And Zeke comes off his line very well, and not only for balls that are played from the opponent, but also balls that are played, from his defense back to him. So, and Coach Reese alluded, having the knee injury kind of, they had some issues back there in the first few games. So he's back full strength and seems to be doing and moving well tonight and should have another good game.
The sun has set beyond the tree line on the west side of the field. There's not a cloud in the sky, and it is 68 degrees. Nearly perfect soccer weather. My partner showed up smiling ear to ear, and that was when the sun was beaming in everybody's face.
No, I tell you, it's a gorgeous night and a beautiful complex here, and there's not a stitch of wind, and both these teams couldn't ask for better weather today.
Even somebody like you feels 10 years younger in these conditions, right?
I feel like I could probably give a good 7 or 8 minutes.
We both know it'd be more than that. On the far side, the Devils with Longo again trying to run up the left side. His back head ball is picked up by Volkamp, and Volkamp turns, shoots it to the far side. Raiders haven't been able to get much going in the flow of the game. A couple of dead ball restarts have given them opportunities to probe into the offensive third. Now the Raiders have to backtrack into their own end as the Devils have dictated both the pace and time of possession here early in the match. Devils come into this one 11-2-3, while the Raiders are 5-11-2. We're scoreless 10 minutes in. 2 40-minute halves in IHSA high school soccer. Zeke Little takes an easy one bouncer, and he'll marshal his troops downfield and set up for the punt. He's gone with the sort of half volley, and we never saw him do that at 10th and Jackson, but now on this field where you know you're going to get a true hop, some goalkeepers are more comfortable with that style.
Yeah, Ezekiel, he can do either one, the punt or the drop kick, and probably feels like he can get a little more a direct flight to players that he wants to play, primarily into Cooper Reese as a target player. So
Aubrey Reese up top now with Cooper Reese. Aubrey Reese on the touch from the left side, cleared away at just the last second by the Devil defense. Raiders back on top of it with Smith. Wants to look to the outside. Smith pushed up from the back now, has it on the right foot. It's going to come free to Riggs. Riggs roaming up top a little bit more. Trailing back is Zanger. He's tag teaming in the middle with Jacob Murphy at the midfield stripe for the Raiders. Whenever they push forward, they don't get out of shape in the back, and that's part of the commitment to defense that Greg Reese's teams show. Not surprising for a man who really made his soccer career as a defender.
Yeah, he's a very good defender, All-American in high school, and went to St. Louis University. And you know, you want to start from the back, like you said before, and a good goalkeeper in Zeke Little, and the back four have done very well this year.
Ball loose in the middle. Evan Riggs knocks it out for the Raiders, trying to catch Cooper Reese on the fly. Reese leaves it behind for Reese. That's going to be touched down by Riggs right up the middle. Riggs doing a lot more late in the season than he did early to help advance this attack up the middle of the field. We see him pushing beyond the center circle into the offensive third. Riggs is a 5'9", 140-pound junior back. Tracking back to the near side is Zanger. He cuts off the attack from Longo. Longo turns, gives it up. Ball's flighted out of bounds near side. And it'll be a throw-in coming up for the Raiders. Raiders right at midfield underneath the broadcast position with Brendan Smith. Smith's so close he could have Mark Thomas sign his jersey when he throws that in. Take it on the near side by Longo. Longo wants to turn and look for the overlapping run by Disler. Instead, Longo wants to spray it the other way where he picks up Noakes. Noakes, kind of a long strides, gangly at that holding midfield spot. Almost part of the defense as he plays sort of a drop-back midfield.
Yeah, both the two midfielders there are trying to get the ball, and if they don't have anything going forward, you can see they'll play the ball back and try to keep possession until they have something to go forward, and here they go right now.
Little one touch right up the middle. Nice back heel flick on by Longo. He opens up some space for Disler to run. Disler looking for help. Middle of the field, Longo. Another one touch as he frees up Dittmer. Dittmer trying to get it to the right foot. Dittmer at the 18. He crosses it, lets it go with the right foot. Smothered by Little.
Yeah, Dittmer there, good run after he got a ball from Michael Longo and hit a good low ball like you'd like to do on this field turf. And Zeke Little making his first save of the game and not giving up a rebound.
You said hit the ball low on the field turf. Why?
Well, I mean, it's a faster surface. Plus, you know, I always like to play balls low and make that keeper make saves, especially if they're diving. A lot of times they'll give up rebounds and you know, their hands are up higher, so you want to hit balls lower, and I just think it creates a much more difficult save from the goalkeeper.
Couple of shots on goal for Quincy High already, one for Notre Dame. The only foul in the match was called against the Blue Devils. We are now 14 minutes into this 40-minute first half. Blue Devils trying to hit the overlapping run for Longo, knocked away expertly by the defense of the Raiders. Raiders want to turn an attack, square ball down the far side. Played up the wing, they look for Cooper Reese. Reese is a lone man against three Blue Devil defenders. That's going to be out of bounds to the Devils. Cooling off nicely here tonight. Blue Devils will send in some replacements. Riley Roth will enter the game, as will DJ Sohn. Sohn came on and did a lot of running, as I remember, in the first leg of this match. He put in probably a marathon's worth of work as he was a frequent substitute for Coach Longo. You could say that about everybody on the roster for Coach Longo, though.
Coach Longo has some depth, and he's not afraid to use it. And I will be interested to see, coming off the tournaments both these teams were in just over the weekend, how much the depth comes into play. And Coach Reese subbed early, and Coach Longo would do that frequently throughout the game, as you'll see.
Yeah, Coach Reese didn't just sub early. He changed half his team with a 5-man substitution about 7 minutes into this game. Attacking up the far side into the offensive third is Volkamp. Volkamp going to have it knocked away out of bounds on the far side. It'll be a throw-in for Notre Dame. So now Notre Dame a chance to build forward, Mark. They've only been dangerous once in the first 15 minutes of this match. Touch square, top of the box. Notre Dame rejected by the defense of the Blue Devils. Longo, far side, wants to leave that in the corner for Roth, just onto the game. Roth up the pitch, far side, overruns it, steps it back to Hosher. Hosher, very calm presence. Now they'll set up the triangle and go all the way back to Ben Merrill, the sweeper. Merrill, he is a big presence in the back. He is calm, he is steady, and he's physical.
Yeah, he's good, and he's very good in the air on those balls that get flighted in off free kicks. And you can see Quincy High with Curran going down the left wing here, 6-7 passes in a row, and this is what Coach Longo wants him to do. And we haven't spoken a lot about Evan Curran, but, he has 4 goals and 12 assists, so that just tells you the playmaker he is.
Talk about some goal scorers. Hosher with 13. He is the leader. You look at Dittmer with 5, Curran with 4. It's been Hosher, though, that's had the magic touch for him this season. Of course, this is a team that can spread it around, too. They put up 8 against an overmatched Rock Island squad in the Western Big Six earlier this month. So this is still a Blue Devil team that packs a lot of offense. Maybe not as much as we saw the last couple 3 years, but still plenty.
No, for sure. And you mentioned Curran. I mean, he has 4 goals, but he has 12 assists. So that tells you, the passing ability and the ability for him to get in spots and find Hosher and find Dittmer and create those chances. So, here he is along the left wing again.
Curran trying to play it square. He draws double coverage from the Raiders. Volkamp comes in and helps now on the right wing back, and they get it free up to midfield. Raiders avoid another dangerous attacking opportunity for the Devils. Devils want to come far side, try to get it in with Longo. It's going to be played back to Danahold. Danahold holds onto it, now plays it square. Danahold locked up, ankle to ankle with Aubrey Reese right underneath us. Now Longo touches it free. Longo nearly knocks over Dittmer as he runs into Logan to the near side. Touched off by Aubrey Reese. Reese up the middle, wants to go on a quick touch. Give and go to Aubrey Reese. Reese nearly tripped up. Now fires, comes back to the near side. Put it on the foot of Riggs. Riggs looking left, touches it inside to Reese. Reese going to have a go from 20 yards out. Didn't get much on it. It hooks down into the turf, and an easy 2-hopper for Gerst to pick up.
Yeah, a little bit better from the Raiders. They'll connect on 3 or 4 passes, and Aubrey'd like to have that one back to in order to get a little bit more of a shot on it. But easy save there for Quincy High.
Played up the near side as the Blue Devils want to run on the quick pass from Danahold. Danahold trying to work along the near side with Curran. And Curran's really done a good job of roaming sideline to sideline as he's been dangerous here over the last 5 minutes. Now Disler and Dittmer will both come back on for the Blue Devils. 22 minutes to go, first half. We are scoreless from Jack McKenzie Field on QU's North Campus. It's the second leg of the crosstown rivalry, and a long throw in from the Blue Devils deep in Raider territory is knotted away by the defense of the Raiders. Raiders just 5-11-2, but they picked up the second seed in their regional, a regional they will host beginning next Tuesday. Meanwhile, the Blue Devils 11-2-3, also the second seed in their regional. That's going to be played in Alton in a couple of weeks. Played square now into the box by the Devils. Raiders need to knock this one away. Dittmer with it on his left foot, dispossessed, and the Raiders just knock it out to midfield. No possession, but out of danger. The Blue Devils with Noakes on top now. Wants to come to the near side for Dittmer. Dittmer on the left foot. Wants to slide it inside. Looking for somebody to take it. Nobody's there, so he'll wait and play a quick one-touch now to Disler. Come to the near side, square for Danahold. Danahold rolls it into the corner. Oh, cheeky backheel. That's going to be an opening for Disler. He looks inside, can't get it in. The Blue Devils having possession and space in the offensive third against QND right now. Out of bounds, off the Raiders, and this will be Blue Devil ball. Blue Devils are dangerous now, Mark.
Good work there from the Devils, and here's Longo looking to get a quick throw in.
Longo pushes it up on the near side. Turn, give it to Longo, running along the baseline. Inside the box, has to play it square. At the 6, stops his motion. He finds a cutback, and it's wide from Disler. He was coming on strong. Didn't have much to work with on a bad angle, but he lit up a hook shot and missed the upper 90 on the near side.
Yeah, good effort there from Michael Longo. Got a ball there from Curran through the legs there of Smith, and Longo stopped and had Disler coming through the box. And to beat Zeke Little, they'll like to get a lot of balls in the box, and that's how they scored their game-winning goal in the first meeting.
Long kick by Little, the goalkeeper for QND, up to the near side. Raiders had momentum going but couldn't win it cleanly. Raiders now middle of the field, pushing toward the left on the offensive end. It's Cooper Reese, knocked away from him, come back the other way. Blue Devils. Substitution coming on for Notre Dame. Jacob Becker, he's into the match. Raiders have to regroup in front of their own bench, right into the field. We are now less than 20 minutes to go in this first half. Scoreless at Jack McKenzie Field on QU's North Campus. Quincy Notre Dame moving right to left in the all whites, while Quincy High is moving left to right in the navy tops and the royal bottoms. I wonder if half the team forgot the right color, top or bottom, because they're going with the off split there.
That might be their long sleeve uniform top. So
I don't think it's that cool. 68 degrees at kickoff, a beautiful night for soccer. I'm Sean Secrease along with Mark Thomas on Talk Radio 930 WTAD. Monday Night Football comes up after our match this evening at Jack McKenzie Field. It's corner kick coming up for the Raiders, left end of the field, near side. This will be an in-swinger for the Raiders, and they'll set up the line to run from the 18. Raiders want to send it to the backside post, looking for a header. That's over everyone, including the target man, Murphy, and it'll leak out the backside. Throw-in coming up for the Blue Devils. So the Raiders get the first corner kick of the game, but not able to put a shot on goal.
Yeah, good corner kick there from Cooper Reese. Brennan Smith there just went over his head, didn't judge it quite as well as he'd like, but he was open and probably would have liked to done a better job with that.
Longo flights it straight ahead. He's looking for Curran on the slash. They'll make that Hosher, who was on the run. But it's picked up easily by Zeke Little at his own 18, and now he'll throw it with a right-handed sling out to the right side. Notre Dame looking to build from the back rather than going for the punt. Now stolen by the Blue Devils. Blue Devils on the flick looking for Longo. He's not home. Devils just had a quick 1-2 touch there with Dittmer and Longo and couldn't put it together.
Yeah, good defense there from the forwards and the midfielders there for Quincy High. And when you can win that ball, only 35 yards out from the other team's goal, you can counterattack and create some chances. So
Raiders on the counter, trying to roll it in behind the defense of Danahold. Long run up the near side wing for Becker. Becker trying to get together on that pass that sprung him, but he just couldn't get there in time. And now a quick throw in by Notre Dame off the near side. Raiders want to shove it right up the middle with Cooper Reese. Boy, it's hard to find room up the middle, but if you can, it's so easy to set up so many angles to the goal. Now trying to hold off is Riggs with the right arm. It's going to bring it out top. Right-footed chip by Reese won't go anywhere. Long shot won't go from Riggs as it's knocked down by the defense of the Blue Devils. Blue Devils try to spring the other way with Curran. Out of bounds to Notre Dame. So Notre Dame opportunities, but they never manifested a good shot on goal.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a forward back there, and Evan Curran getting 2 blocks there, and that's what you have to do defensively as a team when you play a good team defense.
Raiders, top of the box, looking to play it square. Out top now with Riggs. Riggs pokes it free, looking for a roller to Dickerman, rather Aubrey Reese. And Reese can't get on top of it quick enough. But we know how fast the Blue Devil forwards are. Now foul whistled on Notre Dame on the far side, just dragging down. I believe that was Disler, was Aubrey Reese. So that'll be the first foul whistled on Notre Dame. We know how quick the Blue Devil forwards are, Mark, but their backs don't get their due. They're very quick to cover up any gaps on that back line.
No, they're very solid defensively, and what I like is how they distribute the ball out of the back. You know, they'll move the ball side to side. If midfielders don't have anything to attack going forward, they'll bring the ball back like they're doing here, and they'll swing it side to side to keep possession and wait for an opening to go forward. And so they do a very good job not only defending, but playing the ball out of the back to their midfielders and forwards.
It's almost the same idea as in basketball. If you have a rebounder who's also a great outlet passer, you can get so many things going so quickly. That's kind of the way the Blue Devils view their back line. They can clean it up and then spring a great pass to start a counterattack. Pass by Reese curls away from where he was targeting it. He had a run on the far side from Aubrey Reese, as Cooper Reese couldn't lead him. All the way back to the back line now for Notre Dame. That's going to be Zeke Little. Little will punch it away after being fed by Jacob Murphy. And the Devils can't get on top of it. In space, the Raiders have it. Calm it down, stand on it. Bring it near side. Riggs trying to play it right up the middle. Just a quick little toe poke into space for Reese. Cooper Reese, he's got man on his right, man on his left. Reese cuts it to the right side, tries to bring it back to the left foot. Taps it square behind Riggs, and that's a dead giveaway for the Raiders. Raiders aren't going to do much with that opportunity. Now a chance to run deep with Hunter Hosher. Hosher's going to pressure the defense of Murphy, and Little comes out off his line. Well, you can tell Little's got that spring and that confidence with the fully repaired knee, and he's moving around with authority inside his box.
Yeah, good job there from Murphy heading that ball back and enabling Little to use his hands. So, Quincy Notre Dame had their one attack, and Quincy High, you can see how potent they are. Once they won that ball, they went about 40 yards in a hurry to try to spring Hosher.
Okay. For those who are enjoying Soccer 101 with us, explain what you just said. You said the defender, Murphy, headed the ball back, allowing Little to use his hands.
Yeah, any player can head that to their goalkeeper, and they can use their hands. If you play it back with their feet, then the goalkeeper can't use their hands. So, and that was a good play there from Murphy, heading it back and allowing the goalkeeper Little to use his hands and then get him out of a dangerous situation.
Foul called on Zanger on the near side. Make that Reese. Cooper Reese in the 17 shirt. Tanner Zanger in the 7. Both on the left side. That foul is going to be on Reese. Second foul against Notre Dame. One foul has been called against Quincy High. And this restart for Merrow. He'll play it down into the corner. The Blue Devils attacking from left to right. Merrow plays it forward for Hosher, and it's just out off his foot. It'll be last touched by Reese, and a corner kick coming up for the Blue Devils. Under 14 minutes to go in the first half. We are scoreless here on QU's North Campus. Part of their Legends complex that is being worked on, Jack McKenzie Field. I know you've had the opportunity to play here.
Yeah, it's a beautiful complex and field, and a lot of work went into it from Coach Carpenter, and Mike's done a great job with his staff and Dave Musso, and they're definitely having the benefits from it also.
13 minutes to go. In-swinger to the short post for the Blue Devils. They can't get anything. Raiders clear it away, but muff the final clear. Touched forward by Chris Clay just into the game for the Devils. It'll come square now in the middle. The touch by Dittmer. He's looking for Longo off the left foot. Can't get the shot away. Comes back outside. Raiders settle it with an excellent touch. Bring it square to the right side wing and play a little 1-2 touch right underneath us with Aubrey Reese. Reese looking to play it up the sideline. It's out of bounds to Cooper Reese. Reese wants to throw in, and we'll have a substitution now as the Blue Devils will bring on Logan Fry. He's a 5'6", 135-pound junior forward. Boy, if you just look at the heights and weights for both teams, running a lot will keep the weight off.
Yeah, it does. That's one thing.
140, 165, 140, 145, 130, 135, 145. Oh, Zeke Little, 165, and he's 6 feet tall.
Yeah, that's soccer gives you some good cardio, I guess. So.
What was your playing weight?
I know professionally probably 185.
I knew they keep you measured pretty tightly in the pros there.
Yeah, I mean, plus you lift a lot more weights and building up more muscle mass, which weighs more. So
that's what I tell myself too. Raiders have it back near midfield. Play it square now off the near side touch from Smith as he looks to the middle to find Fry. Out to the outside, picked off by Murphy. He's trying to influence the middle of the field from his sweeper back spot. Now he'll be dispossessed. Oh, it's a quick opportunity on a loose ball for Cooper Reese, and he just touches it over the crossbar. That was heart-stopping moment for the Blue Devils as Tyler Gerst got caught off his line. Reese just too much on it to bring it down underneath the crossbar. He was left open at the 25-yard spot, and no one was in net for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, Gerst kind of missed that clearance, went right to Cooper Reese, and wishes he had that back. Just had the right idea, just couldn't get on top of the ball and put it in the empty net.
12 minutes to go, first half. We are scoreless between Quincy Notre Dame and Quincy High. I'm Sean Secrease along with Mark Thomas Thank you for spending some of your Monday night with us. If you're listening to us and watching Monday Night Football, well, we appreciate your dual athletic citizenship. We'll have the Monday night game coming up here on WTAD immediately following the conclusion of our crosstown rivalry soccer match between Quincy High and Quincy Notre Dame. We're scoreless. Quincy High won the first leg a month ago. Raiders have to retreat into their own end, cut off the attack from Blake Wingirter, and it's cleared out on the far side by Brendan Smith of the Raiders. This will be a deep throw-in coming up for the Blue Devils, and the Devils will have an opportunity to use this throw-in as a pseudo corner kick, Mark, if they can launch this into the box to at least the short side post.
Yeah, and we saw this a lot in the first game. They probably had 8 to 10 of these, and Notre Dame, same thing, had a few, and they like to use this long throw and get a flick on from Disler here.
Short throw, trying to hit Longo and get that flick. He had options in the box if he could get it. Instead, it'll come outside. Clay nods it back to the corner, and the Raiders will take this shortly, play it square. Now look to move it outside. Quick build-up from the Raiders as they try to take it out of their own end with possession. Good physical work by Brendan Smith as he plays for possession and a throw-in near midfield. Smith walks it up a bit too far. Now the whistle blows for a substitution. I thought he was called for walking it up too far. Jack Nudo back into the ball game for the Raiders. Nudo was the starter, the 5'9", 140-pound senior. He's back on. Johannes, Riggs, Murphy, Zanger, Smith, Nudo, Reese, Buckman, Drew, and Obert. The starters for Notre Dame here this evening. Merrill, Hersher, Dittmer, Whitty, Disler, Longo, Noakes, Curran, Danahold, and Wingirter. The starters for the Blue Devils. Blue Devils started Tyler Gerst in goal. He is still there. And the Raiders with Zeke Little. We are scoreless now. 10 minutes to go here in the first half at QU's North Campus. Middle of the field. Blue Devils pick it up far side with Brady Wingirter just into the game. He'll lay it off to Longo. Longo wants to look middle of the field. He's done some work with Dittmer and Disler here in the first half. Ball is loose. Center circle. Jacob Becker closes on it for the Raiders. Can't keep possession. Comes loose now to Wingirter. Out to the outside. Picked off by Disler. He'll play it square off the near side with Clay. All the way back to the back line for the Blue Devils. Now knotted up, and it's loose. Disler tries to get to it. He can't. Reese has it, surrounded by 3 Blue Devils. Plays it back and just settles it down as he puts it on the foot of Zanger. Zanger wants to play it up top now. He overshoots his mark in Aubrey Reese, and Reese runs out of room as he had to take on Merrow at the back. That's not going to be a battle you win very often in the air.
Yeah, one thing that's kind of interesting, I think Coach Reese would tell you their defense as a team, get numbers behind the ball, has been very good this half. That's one of the reasons it's 0-0. I think Quincy High wants to go forward a little quicker. They've gone side to side a little bit, but if they can get more attacking runs quicker, they can maybe find some odd man rushes.
Thigh trap too far for the Raiders as they treat Tanner Zanger, let the ball get away from him. Now it squirts into the box, picked up by Zeke Little. And the Raiders will hustle it downfield with 8.5 minutes to go in the first half here from QU Stadium on North Campus. Free in the center circle. Head ball won by the Blue Devils. Now on the ground, ball is loose. Devils pick it up on the foot of Riley Roth. Roth sees it go to Disler. Disler wants to roll it off to the far side where he picks up Wingirter. Now back into the middle of the field. Throw it up front for Longo. Quick back touch. He's got Disler. He's also got Dittmer with him. Throw it up to Son. Son, he has done a lot of running, but not a lot of touching the ball in this offensive flow for the Blue Devils. Devils get it up front now for Disler again. Aubrey Disler, 3 goals, 2 assists this season for the midfielder. He turns with those neon yellow cleats with the orange backs and runs it to the outside square. Picking up Hosher on the outside. Now in the middle. Quick flick on. Longo, left-footed flight, and Little knocks it just wide on the outside post. Longo let that go in the blink of an eye. Caught Little wrong-footed. Little got enough to guide it wide, but it's going to be a corner kick coming up for the Blue Devils on the game's most dangerous shot.
Yeah, good shot there from Michael Longo. A good 25 yards out. Kind of snuck up on Little there and just dove, made a little fingertip save just wide, and Quincy High will get their second corner kick of the game.
Raiders have had 1 corner kick, 2 now for the Blue Devils. Devils on the right end of the field, far side corner, setting up the in-swinger. They'll break from the penalty mark spot at the 15-yard box. Ball is loose on the ground. Raiders get to it, knock it away with Jacob Murphy. Sent back into the top of the box, poked at by Roth, and the Raiders headed away from the Blue Devils. Raiders on the run, don't have numbers back, and the Blue Devils are able to scoop it up, put it on the foot of Chris Clay near side. Clay throws it down into the corner, looking for a run on from Hosher. He won't get there in time. And a throw in coming up for the Raiders. Raiders of Notre Dame moving right to left here in the first half at Jack McKenzie Field on QU's North Campus, part of their Legends Sports Complex. While the Blue Devils of Quincy High moving left to right. We're scoreless, 6.5 minutes to go, first half of play. This game was scoreless at the half the first time these two teams hooked up a month ago at Flynn Stadium. It took a heavy offensive commitment from the Blue Devils to break through in that match. Attacking down the left side, and it's sent away down the left side by the Blue Devils. This is going to be played back. Oh, off the foot. This is dangerous for Zeke Little. Blue Devils would like to pressure him. Longo's going to make him play it honestly out the far side, as it was a tough feed back in a hurry from Tanner Zanger. Now here's Hosher on top. Hosher with the left foot. He wants to let it fly. Blocked by the defense and swept away out to the center circle. Now more and more this field is tilting in favor of the Blue Devils here at the end of the first half, Mark.
Yeah, Zanger played that ball back to Little, and Little's good with his feet. Here comes Notre Dame on the attack.
Counter attack to Bressler in the corner. He's going to jump over it and give it back out to Reese. Reese is going to have it taken away from him. And just the calm presence of Merrill starts it the other way for the Blue Devils. Middle of the field now for Roth. Roth plays it up. Blue Devils are on the attack. Devils going to scoop in with Curran. Curran on the right foot, stumbles a bit, plays it back, and no one's home for the Blue Devils. Well, Curran had an opportunity. Looks like he just got his cleats caught up a bit here in the turf and couldn't set his feet to take the shot.
Yeah, I don't know if Evan heard somebody there and just played it to a spot where he thought somebody was going to be, but probably would have been better off to take that guy one-on-one in the box there. So as you can see, the last 4 or 5 minutes, this game's got stretched out a little bit. There's been some gaps, and I think that would favor Quincy High and their attacking style. So Notre Dame will want to kind of cinch those gaps back up and get their spacing back.
The counter attack by Becker of Notre Dame leads to the touch out and a throw in for Notre Dame. Evan Riggs will come all the way up to take the throw. Riggs deep in Blue Devil territory, trying to unknot a scoreless game here in the first half. 4.5 minutes to play. Riggs going to play it short. They'll play it back to him, let him set up a square ball. The defense of the Blue Devils is right on that. Thrown across the 6. It's off the back post and out. Oh, the Blue Devils were dancing dangerously on their own end as the Raiders got a flick on, and that went off the near side post and up and out.
Yeah, good idea there from Riggs. He threw that ball into Aubrey Reese's feet, who played it back, and then it got back to Riggs, who played it across, and Cooper Reese just got a little toe on it, hit the post, but the linesman had him offsides, and so that's why we had that stoppage in play.
4 minutes to go now, first half. Blue Devils, they've been carrying the offensive momentum for the last 10-15 minutes, but it was Notre Dame who had the best scoring opportunity of the night on that inside flick that was ultimately deemed offsides. Back to midfield. Raiders have it. Little tic-tac-toe passing right down the right side. Devils, though, knock it away. Now a missed clear by the Raiders, and this will send two men scampering back. Little comes out and punts it away. Zeke Little, way out of his box, takes command. That's good to see the captain come out and take some pressure off of his backs. We'll have the halftime stats for you coming up in just a bit. We'll also check in with the Fox Sports newsroom. They'll have a busy day in the Major League Baseball playoffs, including a big sigh of relief for Cardinal fans. You know it's a close game when your rookie starter takes a no-hitter into the eighth and the game is still in doubt.
Yeah.
That's what they were sweating through today in Cardinal Nation. We'll have more on that from the Fox Sports newsroom coming up here at the half on WTAD. 2.5 minutes to go now as the Blue Devils are on the run, trying to force it from Longo into Curran. The Raider defense sweeps it away, and the Blue Devils back on top of it left side. Play it square at top of the box for Longo. Longo lays it off to the far side for Curran. Curran out wide. They want to set it up top for Dittmer. Dittmer on the right foot, shakes it out wide. Going to take a 22-yard shot, scooped up by Little. And Little looks to marshal his troops down the near side. Rolls it out as Notre Dame wants to start the attack from the back. We're scoreless coming up on the proverbial 2-minute warning. Raiders looking for a little bit of cohesion at the back to start their counterattack. The offensive foursome up top for the Raiders have flashed into the right areas when they've had opportunities, but they haven't been able to start quickly out of the back like the Blue Devils have on so many occasions here in the first 40 minutes. The Raider defense working at the back with Zanger. Now a giveaway picked up by Curran for the Blue Devils. Overlapping run from Hosher, let go by Longo, and Hosher couldn't get there in time.
Murphy there with a good read of the pass there, and just made a bad pass there, but good defensively.
Outside now for Clay. The Blue Devils, Clay plays it up the near side for Curran, and Curran follows it out of bounds. Last touch by the Blue Devils. It'll be a throw-in for the Raiders, Brendan Smith. Smith, the 5'11", 145-pound senior defender. Blue Devils trying to creep up on it. Clay gets his head to it. Couple of head balls. Clay skies for it, climbs right over the back of Cooper Reese, and now into the middle of the field where the Raiders try to punch it out to the left side. Merrill is back for it, takes those long, powerful strides, cuts it off, but can't find a blue shirt. Into the middle of the field where he picks up Reese. Reese on the turn to the outside. Plays it off to Reese, now to Smith. Smith wants to fire it up into the corner. Quick turn on the far side, Reese on top of it. Plays it on the back to Smith. Smith wants a square ball, plays that one into the feet of Riggs. Riggs had a man all over him. It was Longo. Longo's quick tap comes to Disler, and now the Raiders have an opportunity on a loose ball on the foot of Aubrey Reese. Reese plays it square, middle of the field, picks up Murphy. Murphy swings it outside, and the Raiders looking across the field for no one in particular. See it come into the center circle, and the Blue Devils get on top of it. Now a giveaway by Quincy High, and it's picked off there by Riggs. Riggs up the middle of the field. The Raiders touch it forward, play it right to the feet of Reese. Aubrey Reese plays it square. Reese just doesn't seem like he wants to take that shot from between the 25 and the 30. He's looking for help, and it's going to run out the first half clock as the Raiders, on the edge of the attacking third, can't find that final pass to level a shot on goal in the last minutes. After the first 40 minutes, we are scoreless from Jack McKenzie Field on the campus of QU in the second leg of the crosstown rivalry between Quincy Notre Dame and Quincy High. Coming up at the half, Mark Thomas gives us his thoughts on the first half and what changes each team may make here in the second half. We'll run down the first half numbers. It's all coming up at halftime. You're listening to tonight's WTAD special presentation, QND versus QHS Soccer on AM 930 WTAD.
Fox News Radio.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table.
This is Financial Services Representative Michael Libman with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls, even with the internet and email. I feel it's important to really get to know you and your family's needs. Otherwise, how will I know what direction you need to take? Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Libman. He makes house calls. Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, New York, New York, 10166.
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore. And love was made for me and you.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table.
This is Financial Services Representative Michael Libman with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls, even with the internet and email. I feel it's important to really get to know you and your family's needs. Otherwise, how will I know what direction you need to take? Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Libman. He makes house calls. Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, New York, New York, 10166.
L is for the only one I see. Lee is very, very extraordinary. He is even more than anyone that you adore. And love was made for me and you.
We are live for the start of the second half, just a moment away. They have cut the clock short here at Jack McKenzie Field. Would Jack have approved of that?
Well, yeah, he would have. He said, let's go. Let's play soccer.
Let's go. We're ready.
Yep, we're ready to
All
go.
right. Well, this was going to be the lead into the second half. Now it'll be the opening moments of the second half. The teams will, of course, flip ends. The Blue Devils of Quincy High will move right to left, and the Raiders of Quincy Notre Dame will move left to right. We are scoreless, and as we get set to kick this off with the Blue Devils, Mark, what do you look for the adjustments to be made here in the second half? Let's start with the host Raiders.
Well, I think they got to be happy at 0-0. I think they did very well getting guys behind the ball, keeping shape defensively. Goalkeeping-wise, they were tested a couple times, but Little was up to the task. I think they'd like to get some more numbers forward, and when they did, they created the one chance on goal. So here comes Quincy High right off the bat.
And for the Blue Devils?
Well, I think, Quincy, I'd like to get the ball, a little wider, get some of those guys secluded, Longo and Hosher and Curran wide where they can beat some guys and get it to a dangerous area at the end line and get some crosses from out wide. And they've gone down the middle a lot. I think both teams have, and it's been easier to defend. So see if they can get some guys wider and create some chances that way.
Raiders take it right up the middle, moving now left to right. They're going to have it touched and controlled by Riggs. Riggs has really been all over the pitch here this evening. He'll play it square as he looks for help on that far side. Touches it over to Smith. And the Blue Devils knock it away and counterattack the other way. Blue Devils, we know that they are dangerous at any moment in the game. They can leverage their quickness and speed to take what looks like an opportunity for you into a counterattack and net them a goal at the other end. The Devils, I don't think we've dwelled on it a whole lot because I talked about it in the pregame show with Coach Longo, just how outstanding their effort was to go down to St. Louis this past weekend in that sensational field and come away 1-1-1.
Yeah, no, a very difficult weekend against some, outstanding teams from across the country. And tonight it looks like the first half they came out a little slower as far as playing wise. And I don't know if it's they had heavy legs or what, so it'll be interesting to see how they start. I think Coach Long would want them to go a little quicker, which you see a quick free kick for them right now.
Quick foul called against Notre Dame, and this is going to give Disler an opportunity for the Blue Devils. Disler on the distribution. He gives it to Longo. Longo, Dittmer now on the near side. Dittmer tries to get it 25 yards away. Now to the outside, misread by Brady Wingirter, and that's going to go out of bounds. Wingirter was tracking back to be part of the defense because he thought that was going to be contained to the right side when they went square. No one was home.
Yeah, Hunter Hosher tried to play that ball out wide and kind of like what we talked about and see if they could, break down Notre Dame on the width of the field. But so far, Notre Dame's been up to task and see if Quincy High can get something going here.
Coming up after our broadcast tonight, we'll have you down to Atlanta, home of the Varsity. Great eatery. I know you've been there.
Oh, I have been there. Yeah, it is a great eatery.
You want to talk about comfort food. It'll be the Monday night game between Atlanta and the JETS Jets. We'll have that for you live. They're going to kick off momentarily. To the far side, it'll be the Raiders with possession, looking up the wing, trying to pick up Van Steele. He'll be outrun on the far side corner, and tracking back is Murphy. Murphy hands it off to Little, the goalkeeper for the Raiders. Little has his clearance knocked away, taken down by Dittmer. On to the far side. Raiders just watching as the Blue Devils knock it around. The Raiders know they're a defensive-oriented team. You have to have a certain level of fitness to chase it all night. Toe poke to the far side. Foot save by Little. Oh, that was just a beautifully created by Hunter Hosher on the left foot toe poke, and Little had to react the only way he could with a strong right foot save.
Yeah, 2 saves there. Hunter off the kick save there from Hosher, and then Longo on the follow-up hit a ball that Brendan Smith cleared off the line. I don't know if it was going to go wide or not, but Notre Dame escaped there, and Quincy High, you can see, picking up the momentum and trying to get more guys forward.
Well, that was a moment of living dangerously for the Raider defense. As the temperature drops down to 60 for the second half, Little flights the ball long, and the Raiders do their best to reel it in. Picked up by the Blue Devils after a moment's trepidation, and now the Blue Devils counterattack with Longo. You know, both coaches said the same thing to me before the match tonight, Mark. That was both Coach Reese of the Raiders and Coach Longo of the Blue Devils. And they both said, I think we figured out our best 11 at this point in the season. Well, you would think that would be something a coach knows after training camp to begin the year or after a week or two. But when you have deep programs and you have talent, sometimes it takes a while because players are always improving during the season. Now that we're at the final stages of the regular season, or the long practice season, as Coach Reese called it, you know, both really think they've figured out their starting 11. Raiders dangerous, go in deep. Gerst on the pickup. Oh, the Raiders had an opportunity gifted to them by a disorganized Devil back line. That's the second time tonight that the Blue Devils have gifted an opportunity to the Raiders.
Yeah, Notre Dame having a half a chance there. Aubrey Reese and also Brendan Smith coming out of his wingback position and using his speed to get forward. Couldn't quite get to that ball before Gerst made the save.
And just getting back to the idea of finding your best 11, unusual for it to take this long?
Well, I think it depends on your team. Also, it depends on, like you talked about, the number of players you have on the depth chart, and plus you have injuries come up, and guys get thrown into a situation, and you find out more about players that way. I mean, you look at Evan Curran at the beginning of the season. I don't think he was called upon to do as much as he is now, and toward the end of the season, he has 4 goals and 12 assists and is a catalyst for Quincy High. So, Woody has said that at the beginning of the season. He's definitely had a good year.
Blue Devils on the restart. Whistle blows. That restart isn't going to be acknowledged by the man in the middle, the referee in the gold top and the black pants and the black socks. So Ben Merrill will reposition it right on the center stripe and get ready to knock it away. We are scoreless. 34 minutes to go in the match. Taken wide by Brady Wingirter. Wingirter sends it into the middle. Blue Devils on top of it. Longo feeds it through. On top of it is Curran. Curran left foot slides it in the middle. Hosher knocks it home.
Yeah, good play there. They played a ball out wide off the free kick, and we talked about that, and then played a ball back in the middle to Longo, who played it through a running onto a running Evan Curran, and I guess the linesman called him offsides because that goal's not allowed. So calling Evan Curran offsides, and who had played it to Hunter Hosher. So referee saw it late too, but I guess the linesman on the far side had his flag up. So.
Boy, that was a late call. I looked around, didn't see anything, and the Blue Devils were celebrating. Wipe out the goal from Hunter Hosher. We are still scoreless with 33 minutes to go in the match. Boy, both teams have lived dangerously at the back this evening, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame had enough guys behind the ball, but Curran made a good run there, and nobody ran with him, and got a slotted ball there through from Longo, and then Hosher was there in the box to finish it. But I don't know if the linesman thought Curran was offsides or Hosher. I would have to say Curran, because the ball got played back to Hosher. So, Quincy High is not real happy about it. Notre Dame, of course, is ecstatic, but it'll be interesting to see how this plays out here the next 10 minutes.
Hosher, the leading scorer on the season for the Blue Devils, nearly netted another. Blue Devils back to midfield as the Raiders try to regroup and find their form again under the assault that has been this Blue Devil offense throughout the match. Devils have dictated not only pace, but the time of possession as well throughout the first half and now here in the second half.
And on that goal, you can see, Sean, and when you get that ball wide through to like Evan Curran there, it's much harder to defend, and that's why that ball got played across, and Hosher was open for the tap-in. So, but evidently linesman thought Curran was offsides.
That was history that didn't actually happen, Mark.
Yeah,
I know
well,
we saw it happen, but it didn't.
I know.
To the far side, the Raiders are on the attack now, trying to move up the wing. Looking for a lot of room on that far side to set up a cross, as they had Aubrey Reese and Cooper Reese working in the middle. Also, Evan Riggs. He has been the workhorse of this match. I know Longo has been all over the field for the Blue Devils, but Evan Riggs has to have run more miles than anyone else tonight.
Yeah, he's playing that defensive center midfielder there for Notre Dame, and now he's going to take this long throw in. So logged a lot of miles so far.
Short throw in. They'll play it right to the feet of Reese. Now back to Riggs. Riggs on the left foot cross. Sends this one to the back door. Raiders have half a chance, and driving out for it is Tyler Gerst.
Yeah, they ran that play earlier, setting up for the long throw, and then Aubrey Reese came and got the short throw and played it back to Riggs and got a good cross, and Brendan Smith heading it back, but just no one there to put it in for Notre Dame.
Well, the Blue Devils trying to rally forward again. Excuse me, I've been battling a little bit of a throat issue and gave out on me there when the Raiders had their half a chance. Knocked down middle of the field, and it's going to be a foul whistled against Disler. It'll go the other way for the Blue Devils. Second foul whistled against the Blue Devils here this evening. Raiders will be on top of it. Zeke Little comes out of his box. Looks like he wants to take this restart from the Raider half of midfield. Now, Little has quite a leg on him. Will they try a direct kick even from this distance?
Well, he'll put it up there, and you'll see Aubrey go up for it. You'll see also Zanger get up, but he'll drive it in there and make it a tough work here for Gerst, but he handled it easily. You'd like to see that ball fly to about the 6-yard box and make that keeper come out and challenge for it in the air.
Keeper to keeper. Little knocks it all the way to Gerst on his line. Now Gerst knocks it out top. Tries a give and go with Merrill running far side for Hosher. Instead, the Raiders regroup. It'll be out of bounds far sides off Blue Devils, and the Raiders will have a throw in. Notre Dame and Quincy High scoreless. 30 minutes to go in this 80-minute match. Sean Secrease along with Mark Thomas. Bruce Terstege taking care of us back in the WTAD studios this evening. Raiders looking for their 6th win of the year, while the Blue Devils look for their 12th. To the far side, Blue Devils tracking back as they have numbers on the far wing with Hosher. Hosher looks to the middle of the field. No one's home as he tried for Longo. Coming on, long ball, flighted in, catches the keeper off guard. Wingirter tests Little, and Little comes up with the save.
Yeah, good shot there from Wingirter, and we had a great angle at it. And not only that, ball got deflected off of Valkamp, and so it made a much tougher save there for Little.
Long punt by Little as he takes it all the way down the field. Going to be picked up by Dittmer. Dittmer's square ball played up the wing, and the Blue Devils want to break onto it. Longo, back heel, tries to set up the overlapping run. Raiders are alert to it and force it back out to the center stripe for the Blue Devils. Raiders on a right foot, want to take it middle of the field. Played down and collected by Notre Dame, now ticked away by the defense of Noakes. Onto the feet of Riggs. Riggs, he's got room to turn. He had Reese. Handball, no call. And play continues back to the defensive line of Notre Dame. Valkamp plays it up the wing. He looks for Peters. Peters is going to come free now to Valkamp. Valkamp on the left foot, puts his foot on top of it, stops, goes right. He's got it to Reese. Reese on the left foot, wants to play it back into space, and it's a dead giveaway to the Blue Devils. Longo trying to spring his man Curran on the near side wing. Evan Curran steps up, beats the defensive Valkamp, and it's out of bounds. Throw in coming up for the Blue Devils. 28 minutes to go now. Still scoreless. We're here on the campus of Quincy University. The Raiders using Jack McKenzie Field for their home both in the regular season and their upcoming postseason. They'll be hosting the regional starting next Tuesday night. We'll talk about that as play allows here in the second half. We are scoreless. 12 minutes into the second half. Raiders on the counterattack from midfield. Off the feed. No one's home on Smith. And now the foul whistled against Quincy High. And down goes Smith. Up and on the far side, upset with the call, is Danahold. Raiders go quickly, get it into the far side. They want to give and go back toward the end line. And no one's home for that touch. Well, the Raiders half the team seems like they have creative ideas, and the other half seems like they can't read those ideas as they're not all on the same attacking page right now.
Yeah, sometimes they get a little gappy, okay, where you'll see some gaps from defense to offense and going forward. But get a little more physical here. You can hear the fans get into it. 0-0, 27 minutes left here, and the longer it goes 0-0, you'll hear the fans start to, and both teams will be battling a little bit more. So going to be a fun last 27 minutes, I think, Sean.
Little will come out of his box again for the Raiders to take this kick. His personal protector, Murphy, will stay back with him. Just like the idea of the quarterback out of the shotgun keeps the running back on his hip in case he needs a block in the blitz. That keeper doesn't want to be back there by himself when he's that far out of box in case a catastrophe happens. Middle of the field now for the Blue Devils, and Dissler. Dissler turns, runs right up the middle. He's going to wait till he gets resistance, pushes it off now. Longo, middle of the field, knocked around. Blue Devils still have it despite the Raiders' best efforts. Bring it out wide to Wingirter. Wingirter wants to go up the wing where he connects with Curran. Curran on top of it with Wingirter. Wingirter into the middle now. He rolls it to Dissler. Dissler on the right foot. Springs his man, goes back to Dissler just out of his range. Touch forward. Longo on the left foot. Longo slots it home. No flag up this time. Dissler to Longo with 26 minutes to go, and the Blue Devils are on top 1-0.
Yeah, they're good 1-2 play there, and Quincy High had about 5 or 6 passes there, and then Dissler found Hosher, who one-timed it onto a running Michael Longo, who was on a strong foot and just slotted the goal home. So 1-0 here, Quincy High, 26 and a half minutes left, and just a fantastic display of passing there for Quincy High.
For Longo, his second goal of the season. Longo in the 54th minute, and the Blue Devils are on top 1-0. Well, the longer this game went scoreless, the better the Raiders felt about it. Now, if they want to try for the win, they're going to have to put some extra pressure forward.
Yeah, for sure. I think the longer it was 0-0, I think it favored Notre Dame to continue to stay and keep their shape as a team. You know, being 1-0 as it was last time, it'll be interesting to see if Coach Reese changes some formations, puts guys forward a little bit more.
Now, you might feel like you're way behind at 1-0 when the Blue Devils not only have the goal but have been dictating the time of possession and the pace. But you have to remember, too, we're just under a half hour to go, so you've got time to work with.
No, you have plenty of time. And, I mean, you know, if you push too many guys forward and you kind of get stretched at the back, Quincy High will definitely take advantage of that with their offensive weapons.
Raiders trying to pressure the clear from Gerst. Raiders work to the far side. They'll be looking to spring defense to offense. They're not going to abandon their defensive principles, but they'll be looking to counterattack quickly as they do now. The feed from Reese out of the middle, wants to go far side for Peters, and Peters has it knocked out along the far side sideline. Throw in coming up for the Blue Devils. No score yet. They're just underway in Atlanta. We'll get you straight out there after tonight's game. The New Jersey Jets and the Atlanta Falcons. Well, they play on the Jersey side.
They do.
The new stadium.
That's where the Meadowlands was, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to get that wrong. I think it's New York for marketing purposes.
I would agree.
That's that #1 TV market thing. To the far side, Raiders try to roll it right into the slot. It'll be Riggs. He plays it square. Raiders have it 25 yards from goal, middle of the field, cleared away by the Devil defense. Raiders will have the throw in from the near side. Devils crowd on the far side, starting to get into full throat. Raiders take it deep with Riggs. Riggs has it knocked off of him very ungracefully, but he recovers in time to get it to Reese. Now Riggs has a big collision right at the middle of the field with Riley Roth. How both of them are still on their feet, I don't know. Cleared away by the Blue Devils, and the Raiders cut off the progress of Hosher. Hosher thought he had one goal tonight, but was ruled offsides. Instead, our only goal coming in the 54th minute, Longo from Dissler, and that's the lead for the Blue Devils. Wingirter on the touch, wants to come back to the inside. Knocked away by the defense of the Raiders, as the Raiders are getting men over, including Nudo the leader. Trying to touch it away and run with the touch is Riggs, but he misses it. And the Raiders have to backtrack into their own end. Quick flick away by Zanger. He comes to the middle of the field. Raiders trying to get extra men on the ball. Raiders turn it up with Reese. Reese to Reese, middle of the field. Now Riley Roth of the Blue Devils gets on top of it, hands it off to Disler. Disler on the cut. He's got a man up the middle. That was Curran. Great defense that time from the Raiders and Volkamp. Volkamp left his feet, slid, because he had to sell out for that play. If he doesn't get it, Curran is in alone on the keeper.
Yeah, that's the third time Quincy High has found that little angle slotted through the defenders, and Volkamp doing a good job there diving and winning that ball. If he didn't, Curran's there one-on-one. So either Quincy High saw something at halftime where they could maybe play some balls through those little slots in the Notre Dame defense. They've done it. That's the third time they've done it, and one's led to a goal.
We've learned from you already this evening as the ball's loose at the 6. It's picked up finally by Little. Zeke Little. Moments of worry as the Blue Devils will all around it at the 6. The technical term for that is gappy, right? They get a little gappy.
Get a little gappy, yep. And so as a team, you definitely want to, go up and down the field as a unit. So a lot of times you get gappy between the backs and the midfield, or midfielders and forwards, that type of thing.
So you want to move in unison.
Correct.
Up and down the field.
Up and down the field.
Traversing
Don't
the
get
pitch
gappy.
with accuracy and speed and strength. And don't get gappy.
Don't get gappy.
Is that what you tell your youth kids when you
Oh, yeah,
coach
don't
them?
get gappy.
Near side throw in coming up for the Raiders. 22 minutes to go in the match. Blue Devils up 1-0. Raiders play it square, but the cross is behind the goal off the foot of Von Steele. And that'll be a goal kick coming up for the Blue Devils. Coming up on Friday night, it's more football on WTAD. High school football. They're coming down the stretch for both Notre Dame and for Quincy High. The Raider football team will be at home to take on Pittsfield. That'll be a 6:40 pregame show, 7 o'clock kickoff. You'll be able to see that Notre Dame versus Pittsfield game live online at quincyjournal.com. Tonight's match is being aired at quincyjournal.com as well. Just click on the QJTV link, and you can watch tonight's game with the Blue Devils up 1-0. And now a player from each side down in the middle of the field. 21 minutes to go in the match, 1-0. Blue Devils on top, and as the medical staff heads out to the center of Jack McKenzie Field here on QU's North Campus, we'll step aside. You're listening to QND versus QHS on AM 930 WTAD.
A funeral.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table.
This is Financial Services Representative Michael Libman with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls, even with the internet and email. I feel it's important to really get to know you and your family's needs. Otherwise, how will I know what direction you need to take? Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Libman. He makes house calls. Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, New York, New York, 10166.
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore. And love was made for me and you.
Leg one was played at Flint Stadium a month ago, and it was the Blue Devils of Quincy High winning that one 1-0. Now the Blue Devils trying to run it back with the exact same score, this time on the road at the home of Quincy Notre Dame here on the campus of Quincy University. Blue Devils lead it 1-0 off a 54th minute goal by Longo, his second of the season. Our players who were down at midfield were able to get up under their own power, just a collision that took both off their feet, probably knocked the wind out of them, and they'll be back to action just as soon as they get the opportunity. 20 minutes to go in the match. The 1-0 lead for the Blue Devils standing up right now as the Devils have possession in the middle of the field. Mark, if you think about changing your shape as the Raiders, is there a certain feel to the match that you want? Is there a certain time you want on the clock? How do you go about evaluating
well,
that?
I think for Notre Dame, probably timing is the key here. I mean, because if they do change their formation and they put more players forward, you're going to be susceptible at the back, and you don't want to do that too early. So normally, probably when you're down 1-0, they'll probably keep it the same maybe until the 10-minute mark, and then start pressing forward and maybe change their formation. A lot of coaches and teams will go 3 in the back, three midfielders and 4 up top, and play more of a direct style and try to get more balls into the offensive third and into the box and create chances that way.
Blue Devils with possession and the 1-0 lead, 20 minutes to go in the match. Thanks to our hosts, both Quincy University and Quincy Notre Dame, for having us here tonight on Talk Radio 930 WTAD, and thanks to Bruce Terstege for taking care of us back at the WTAD studios. We mentioned Raider football coming up Friday night. Tim Kinshirf will have it all right here on your home for the Raiders. Talk Radio 930 WTAD. They'll take on Pittsfield, and that'll be at 10th and Jackson, and on Quincy Journal at QJTV. As for the Blue Devils, they'll be on the road on Friday night, their last road trip of the regular season, and you'll hear it on our sister station, 103.9 The Fox. That's on the FM side, 103.9 The Fox. I'll have the call, along with my partner Jim Hansen, as the Blue Devils go to a suddenly foundering Moline franchise for their last road trip of the regular season. Both teams looking good in the attempt to qualify for the IHSA playoffs. Going to have a high kick at midfield, whistled against the Blue Devils, and that'll be a restart for Notre Dame. And do we have a yellow card out? No, it's just a glint off the whistle from the lights on the far side. All right. I didn't think that was that dangerous of an attempt.
No yellow card there. So here comes Little again, trying to drive this ball in the box.
Now the Raiders trying to be dangerous from deep. Little drives this one, and it's a better ball, shorter to the 6. Zeke has to hammer that in as he challenges Gerst. He pops it up. It comes to the near side. At Gerst, you would love your keeper to catch everything, but he went with a fist bump that time. Punched it away. Scary moment, but it had enough flight on it to clear the dangerous 18-yard line.
Punched that out, and then Van Steele had a chance there at a volley and just didn't get enough on it and hit it wide. So a little bit dangerous opportunity there for Quincy Notre Dame.
17.5 to go. 1-0 lead for Quincy High. The Blue Devils scoring in the 54th minute off the goal from Longo. And that's been all the scoring in this one so far. Every time these two hook up of late is a very, very tight game. In fact, we look over, it has been 1-goal games. You have to go back to 2009 to find a final that was more than a 1-goal margin, and that was the Blue Devils over Notre Dame, 2-0.
Yeah, when these two teams, there's a chance here for Quincy High again.
Blue Devils building into the middle with Dittmer. Dittmer finds it on the outside foot, and Dittmer tries to clear it through the air, and that's going to be a foul, and the Raiders will have a restart just outside their own 18-yard box.
Yeah, Logan Fry going up well there and strong and win that head ball and getting a foul called on Quincy High to alleviate some pressure there. But when these two teams meet up, I mean, you can throw out the records over the years and always a tough, tightly fought match.
Blue Devils backtrack, take the long punt from Little, and square it off to the far side. They'll look for a counterattack. No one home, as the Devils were packing 11 men in beyond the midfield stripe. On top of it now is Devin Watson. Watson knocks it away, picked up by the Raiders. No one can keep possession. Watson again flails away, and it comes to the near side. That's going to be Longo and his flying brown mohawk on the near side. The Blue Devils, if you missed the opening of the game, got together and as a team unity thing have done the team-wide mohawk look. Some of the guys, let's just say some of the guys committed more than the other guys. Some committed to showing a little bit more skin on both sides of that mohawk.
I'd be the uncommitted there, Sean.
Like Evan Curran?
Like Evan Curran, yeah.
Either he missed that meeting
I know
or
his mom and dad, and they said, you look better without the mohawk, I think, son.
May have pictures coming up. You never know. Mom would be upset if you did that to her lasting memory of you. 15.5 to go, 1-0. Blue Devils of Quincy High on top of the Raiders from Notre Dame. Far side knocked around by Ben Merrill. Merrill just strong, steady at the back, has no problem with one challenger on him, walking it all the way to the end line. They'll try to slot it out, but good pressure from Notre Dame is going to result in a corner kick.
Aubrey Reese working hard there defensively as a forward there and earned Notre Dame a corner kick. So another chance, and Coach Reese talked about this, how they need to take advantage of their free kicks, this being one of them. Cooper Reese try to swing this ball in.
Now with Notre Dame trailing 1-0 from the right end, far side, and in-swinger. This is a big-time scoring opportunity. The ball slings out toward the 18, headed down by Dylan Peters. Not cleared yet by the Blue Devils, but they're on top of it now. And a great opportunity for the Raiders. Goes by the board with nary a shot on goal. Longo on top wants to throw it up to the non-Mohawked Curran as he rifles right up the wing along the near side. Now the Devils have to regroup as it's out of bounds and a throw in for Notre Dame. Notre Dame needing an opportunity, and I think if they're going to get one, Evan Riggs is going to play a part in it. He's done so much work tonight. He's done a lot of not only possession, but a lot of deep runs to help break down this Blue Devil back line. And if the Raiders are going to score, I have a feeling Riggs is going to be involved.
Yeah, no, he's definitely an integral part of what they do in the midfield, and he wins a lot of balls. And, if they can get the ball in the box and get it to him, and they'll have a better chance. Here he goes here.
Now Riggs is on it. He tries to flash in from the right wing, but it's dispossessed and goes back the other way. Raiders lose it in the air to Disler. He comes near side, headed down by Volkamp. Volkamp was looking on the near side, trying to hook up with Dylan Peters, but it's out of bounds, and a throw-in coming up for the Blue Devils. That'll bring the Blue Devils' Disler back onto the field after a short rest. His throw in for the Devils goes up the near side. Curran flicks it up top. Double flick on that time by Longo as they're trying to get the streaking Son up the left side. Now it comes away. Here's a giveaway by Little. Dittmer's on top of it. Touches it to Disler. Disler on the right foot. Tried to get it to Son, and they just couldn't settle it. And now the Raiders have possession on the far side. The Blue Devils were looking to put it away with a second goal here this evening.
He had a chance there, and Disler probably wishes he had that one back. Tried to play that ball in and just didn't pass it correctly, and Notre Dame got away with one.
Riggs hard charging up the far side. He forces Gerst to come off his line. Now end-to-end action as the game has opened up here in the final 13 minutes. Blue Devils in on the end line. Great backdoor slide tackle that time by the defense of the Raiders. Devils have it atop the 18. On the touch inside, it's Son. Still not cleared. Disler on top. Bounding around on the far side corner. Disler on the chest. Settle. Long shot. Backside post, and it's well wide past Little.
Yeah, good effort there from Tanner Zenger on that slide tackle initially, and then Disler again get an opportunity to hit a volley there. Hit it to the back post, and if Michael Longo would have saw that, he could have ran in, maybe got a second goal of the game. But good work there from Quincy High, and Notre Dame up to the task.
The shots on goal have been few, but the kind of half chances have been many. I mean, you just have to contribute, or attribute that rather, to the hard work and the form of the back lines for both teams. They're shutting down those half chances.
No, they're doing a good job. Here's another chance here that Notre Dame snuffs out.
Notre Dame steps in front of it with Smith, knocks it back to Little. Now Dittmer on the chest brings it to the near side for Hosher. Want to lay that off to Wingirter. Wingirter, right foot, brings it back middle of the field, where he finds Dittmer. Dittmer on the layoff far side. Left foot bomb lined up, blocked by the defense off of Longo. He's going to get another chance. Pushes it to the left foot. His shot blocked again. Longo just trying to line up that left foot and bomb away from 25 yards out. Now fed into the top of the box. Head balled out by Murphy of the defense. Long touch for Reese. He can't get there. Zooming through to break it up on the defensive end is Seth Whitty, and he throws it down into the far side corner. Raiders trying to escort it out over the end line for a goal kick. They will do that. And the Blue Devils just mixing it up on how they're attacking, whether it's up the middle, short passes, passes over the top, and they have challenged the Raiders on every conceivable attacking angle.
Yeah, Longo, two good chances there and got blocked by Riggs and Smith, but here they go again attacking, trying to get a slotted ball through.
Disler up the middle. He was looking for the slot to Longo, and it was cut off by the Raider defense. The Raider defense has done a good job of picking up their angles. Now, tripping is one of the Blue Devil defenders on the far side, and the Raiders have possession with Reese. Reese steps on it, takes it back against the grain, gets a half pick, throws it into the box far side, slotted back to Reese. Reese at the 18, and it's cleared away by Merrill. up front. Longo on the touch. Longo's 1-on-5. What will he do here? He plays it square to Hosher on the left side. Now waits for numbers. On the touch, it's Curran. Now Longo. Longo wants to pop it up to the far side as they set up the triangle. Longo wanted to include a fourth man. Hard to get 4 points on a triangle, partner.
That it is.
Up the middle for Notre Dame, now dispossessed by the Blue Devils. Blue Devils just really showing their quality here tonight. The game appears slow for them, while at times it appears too fast for QND.
Yeah, they're showing their depth and their ability to attack going forward. And probably here the last 9.5 minutes are going to have some chances to get that second goal because Notre Dame's going to be pushing some players forward. And if you're Coach Longo, you want them to finish that chance and make this a 2-0 game.
1-0, Blue Devils on top. The 54th minute goal from Longo. The Blue Devils touch it in. Raider defense tries to head it out. Disler on top of it. Nearly a handball. Plays it near side for Longo. Tries to slide it through, and the Raider defense is back to clear it. Dittmer can't settle it. Raiders flick it over their head out to midfield where they're looking to pick up Fry on the move. Fry can't turn around with possession. It's loose in the middle. Raiders slide down. Fry wants to go down to the ground and keep possession. Can't do it. Comes up now to Disler. Wants to go far side to Hosher. Hosher on the run. Left foot. Runs square. Lays it square for Longo. Too far out in front of him. And a good recognition run by Dylan Peters as he comes through and sweeps it from danger. Counter attack for the Raiders. Aubrey Reese to the far side. He can't outrun Riley Roth. And the Raiders with possession far side after the run. Off the wing by Peters. To the far side. There's Evan Riggs running hard again. Riggs down into the corner. Has it dispossessed from him. Out of bounds. He'll chase it down and throw it in deep.
Now, last couple times here, they've set up for the long throw, and then they have Aubrey. They clear that space out, and they have him run in. And Riggs will throw that ball in. Aubrey will play it right back, and then they do they try to drive it in like a corner kick. So we'll see what happens here.
Riggs is set for the long throw in on the far side. He looks deep. They're going to throw it to the short post. Flick onto the back door. It's wide open, and the Raiders have it in the back of the net. Quincy Notre Dame has leveled in the 72nd minute off the long throw in from Riggs on the far side.
Yeah, it looks like Riggs threw that ball in, and Zanger went up, flicked it on, and I don't know if Brendan Smith got that ball before it crossed over the goal line or if it just went in the goal line, So Coach Reese talked about it, set pieces. Notre Dame did one well there. Quincy High kind of got caught standing around. No one marked up Zanger. And once the ball was flicked on, no one was there for Quincy High, and either Smith got the goal or Zanger went in off the flick in.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk to the field level official because that one was right along the line after the flick from Zanger. Right now, we're looking at Brendan Smith's goal from Tanner Zanger. We'll update that as we go along here this evening if they award it to Zanger. So Smith from Zanger unofficially in the 72nd minute, and we are all level at 1. Middle of the field for the Blue Devils. This, Mark, was what the Raiders couldn't do at Flynn Stadium a month ago, find the equalizer.
Correct, and they got a good half chance there and made the most of it. And Quincy High I don't know if they thought Notre Dame was going to do the same play there with Reese or not, but they really didn't mark up very well in the box.
Raiders trying to feed it down to the near side. Looking at the far side corner. Long attempt, and Little is able to get to the far side and knock it away. Oh, it was a curling edge shot from the near side wing, and the Blue Devils nearly had a goal in the 74th minute. Hosher hit a curling, wicked, dipping shot toward the upper 90 on the far side, and Little had to make an All-American save to get over and knock it away.
Yeah, great save there from Little there, and Hosher really testing him there with that bending ball.
6.5 to go. 1-1. Sean Secrease, Mark Thomas with you. Here at Jack McKenzie Field, part of the Legends Complex on QU's North Campus. Thanks again to our friends at QuincyJournal.com for carrying the feed of tonight's game on their QJ TV. There will not There will not, we are told, be overtime tonight. These two teams, Coach Longo, Coach Reese, know they're coming down to the end of the season. They want to put any extra minutes on their guys' legs with the playoffs starting soon.
No, I would agree with that too. So be nice to see overtime, but Notre Dame earning a corner kick there. Smart job there by Aubrey Reese, hiding shielding that ball for a corner kick. And Zanger's going to come over here, and my guess is probably playing an in-swinger here, left-footed. So be looking for Brendan Smith, looking for Cooper Reese, and also Aubrey can get on this.
Here's a left-footed in-swinger towards the back door, picked up by Gerst. Oh, Gerst just went up like an air traffic controller and didn't give anyone an opportunity to do anything with that in-swinger. Big, strong, powerful in the air. Gerst gets two hands on it and rips it down.
Yeah, Gerst did a good job there coming up off his line, grabbing that ball out of the air, and in a big group of players too.
Well, Notre Dame, who was fighting to stay level, fell behind in the 54th minute when Longo scored for the Blue Devils. The Raiders have drawn level in the 72nd minute with Smith, and now have had the better opportunities to take a 2-1 lead, believe it or not, here in the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, Notre Dame seems a little more energized, and I think Coach Longo would like his Devils to kind of get back to their passing game where they spread the field out and move the ball, and they haven't been doing that. They're in more of a kind of a kick and run and not keeping as much possession.
4.5 minutes to go in the match. There will not be overtime here this evening. The Tempo is going to challenge along out on the far side. Well, Longo had that along the end line. He was trying to run it on the angle, and he couldn't find enough room. Counterattack for the Raiders, and it's too far out in front of Reese. Reese had one-on-one isolation with Seth Whitty and just couldn't keep it in play. Volleyed back to the defense of the Raiders. Raiders back out to midfield. Sean Secrease, Mark Thomas with you. Final 3 minutes of tonight's match between Notre Dame and QND, or QHS, I should say. QND, QHS. Hosher on the curl. He goes over the crossbar. That was too high and never started to dip like he wanted it to.
No, he definitely tried to hit that bending, dipping ball, and that's where you'd like to get Hunter out on that wing, get him secluded one-on-one. I would have liked to seen him, continue and beat that guy, try to get to that baseline like he did in the first game, and got an assist that way. And, he's just dangerous to match up one-on-one there.
2.5 minutes to go. We're tied 1-1. Immediately following our broadcast, we'll get you down to Atlanta for Monday Night Football between the New York Jets and the Atlanta Falcons. Jets at 2-2 on the season. Falcons at 1-3. Falcons were supposed to be a Super Bowl contender this year. They've looked like anything but so far. Up the middle, it's Dittmer. Dittmer for the Blue Devils. Looking to unknot it. 2 minutes to go now. Here at Jack McKenzie Field, part of the Legends Complex at QU's North Campus. Blue Devils have to backtrack for it. The goalkeeper, Gerst, picks it up. Gerst has been fantastic here tonight. The goal that was scored by Smith, he didn't have a chance on. It was part of a broke-down defense on a corner kick, on a throw-in, excuse me. They came from the far side by Evan Riggs. Has the same effect as a corner kick because Riggs can serve it into the box, so you get the same attack angles, even though it was from about 18 yards out. So a set-piece score for the Raiders tonight, and the Blue Devils scoring in the run of play, kind of the signature for both offenses.
Yeah, and we talked about that at the beginning of the game. That was going to be one way that we thought Notre Dame could score a goal, and Coach Reese said that at the beginning of the game.
End of the first quarter in Atlanta. Atlanta up on the Jets, 7-3. We'll have you there as soon as we're done here on WTAD. Up the middle with 50 seconds to go now. Blue Devils are selling out, looking to get the winning goal. Foul on a slide tackle comes against Disler, and it is the fourth foul of the game whistled against the Blue Devils of Quincy High. Sean Secrease along with Mark Thomas. Should either team take a deep run into the postseason, we will try our best, along with our other programming responsibilities, to bring you those games.
You'll see Little drive this ball here. So you'll see Little drive this probably a good 60 yards in the air and try to put it in the box.
20 seconds to go. Little drives it. His punt is going to be short of the box. Headed away by the Blue Devils. Comes back into the possession of the Raiders. The man who has been Johnny on the spot defensively, Jacob Murphy, sends it into the box for the Raiders. Blue Devils clear. Middle of the field. Devils with Von Steele. Takes it to the far side, and time is going to run out on this match. 80 minutes, and there is no separation between Quincy High and Quincy Notre Dame. 1-1, our final here this evening, as each team nets a goal and puts another tie on their record. In the 54th minute, it was Longo from Disler for the Blue Devils, and then the Raiders getting the equalizer in the 72nd minute. Smith from Zanger right now is the way we're calling it in the press box. Smith from Zanger. Zanger had the head ball, Smith taking it across the goal line, and that was the equalizer in the 72nd minute. After the tie, the Blue Devils now 11-2-4. The Raiders 5-11-3 on the season. We'll have a short postgame show for you coming up next. You're listening to the Crosstown Rivalry, QHS, QND Soccer on Talk Radio 930 WTAD.
When you schedule your service appointment.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table.
This is Financial Services Representative Michael Libman with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls, even with the internet and email. I feel it's important to really get to know you and your family's needs. Otherwise, how will I know what direction you need to take? Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Libman. He makes house calls. Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, New York, New York, 10166.
Is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore. And love was made for me.